Going on YouTube, Cloverbells here back with another Scarlet Violet video, and today we're going to do a little bit of a quick recap of the final results from the Sacramento Regional. So, what a tour, and there's some interesting things that happened over this past weekend. And we have a winner in Michael Zhang, and that is not a mistake on your screen, folks. Yes, you do see Kommo-O and Tyranitar. Yes, Tyranitar is finally a regional champion. All right, the naysayers said it couldn't be done. They said Tyranitar was dead. They said Urshifu put it out of existence. All right, but here Tyranitar says, I will rise from the ash and claim my crown once again. And Tyranitar, aka Godzilla, is on top of the VGC world once again. And what a team that Michael has over here with Kommo-O and Tyranitar here. So let's just go back into Showdown here, just to take a look at what Michael was running here with the sets here. Now, let's do Kommo-O first before we discuss anything about Tyranitar. So, Michael is saying here, he's making a call here. He's saying the meta is very physical, and it's true, right? We've established that for a while now. And what he's saying is that with Kommo-O, with this dragon fighting typing, combined with Iron Defense Body Press, along with Leftovers Protect and Iron Head, is going to wall a majority of the format, right? So what is this exactly doing? So why did Michael forgo, the Clangorous Soul Clanging sales set, right? So basically what he's saying is, look, I'm a dragon type, okay? And in regulationE, dragon typing is good. Why? Because you get to resist the fire, water, and grass attacks. So stuff like Ogre Pond, you can pretty much resist it, all right? And, just not do so much damage, right? And then at the end of the day, look at your bulk, right? Base 125 defense, a pretty good target for body press, right? Or pretty good client, I would say, for body press, right? And then at the end of the day, you don't really necessarily need that much speed. You just need to invest in your bulk. Just click Iron Defense, 2 or 3 times, and then just start one-shotting things with body press, right? And then Iron Head is, of course, for the Flutter Mane matchup, all right? Stuff like that, or even just having a good move into Chien-Pao as well, right? Yes, some of them do run, Sacred Sword, of course, but at the end of the day, like, this is still like a really, really good set. Kommo-O is doing what Hisuian Gudra could not do, and that is, of course, win that regional. So, like, Gudra did run something similar, of course, the Shelter, Body Press, Heavy Slam, Protect. Yes, that Gudra set, of course, still works, and, Gudra has had some results, but Kommo-O is the one that is able to claim the regional win. All right, and then, of course, Bulletproof, which is really good against, bullet moves, just like Flutter Mane, Shadow Ball in general. But, like, at the end of the day, you can't really intimidate this thing because it doesn't really care about it that much. You're clicking Body Press, all right? And then, you are 4 times weak to Fairy, so Flutter Mane matchup can be a bit of an issue against this thing, but you have more than enough to deal with it, right? And we'll talk about that in a second. But again, at the end of the day, look, your dragon typing, what else does it do? It resists both Urshifu, right? So the dragon typing resists the water type, and then the fighting type, you're able to resist the Urshifu dark stuff, right? Which is pretty good, right? And then Landorus Rock Slide stuff, that also gets resisted as well. So, Kommo-O looking really good against a lot of these physical options. You can literally just sit there, click Iron Defense, Protect, get some recovery, Iron Defense again, Protect again, and then finally, even after like +4, body presses are still like doing so much. So at the end of the day, it's pretty good. So shout outs to Michael for coming up with something like this. And then if we just think about Tyranitar here, which something you might not expect, in regulationE, but it has been effective for him, right? And I've seen some, Limitless Tour results that have also been featuring Tyranitar, and it makes sense, right? Why? Because you have this ability called Sandstream, which means you get to summon the sand. So now you're taking Ninetales teams out of their element, right? You're removing snow, okay? And now the Ninetales cannot click Auroraville. And Ninetales teams are very, very prevalent in regulationE. Look at the results. There's even 2 in the top 8. And we'll do more recaps and like a full breakdown of the entire regional and the results in probably tomorrow's video when we get more of these open team sheets from Victory Road, right? And again, shout outs to them, because without them, we can't make videos like this, right? So quick shout out to Victory Road. But at the end of the day, look, you're taking Ninetales out of the weather, which means no defense boost for Ninetales, okay? Which means all of your physical mons, like, you know, Kommo-O and Arcanine in Rillaboom, they can do a lot more to Ninetales now. And then at the same time, you know, you're getting that special defense boost for your Tyranitar, and then you're supported by your own Arcanine, so now you're getting pretty good bulk defensively. And then now in regulationE, you get knockoff, right? Just like Roaring Moon getting knockoff, this is a huge buff for Tyranitar, you know, being able to remove key items. I've seen him click this a bunch of times, removing key items like leftovers, you know, from an opposing Heatran. So it makes a lot of sense here. But what was really cool about this Tyranitar set also was Terra Blast, Terra Psychic. That's pretty good. You know, that's great into something like Amoonguss, right? You're just able to do so much damage there. But you know, that's also good against fighting types. You know, get to resist that. So and then you're neutralizing the water weakness, the ground weakness. You know, Tyranitar has a lot of weaknesses, right? You know, it's got great bulk, okay, but 7 weaknesses is not so great. But psychic typing, you know, does a pretty good in terms of that sense, right? But you know, that's Tyranitar's value. So maybe this might be time for Tyranitar to see a little bit more usage, just because you can fight for weather control, right? And then even against like Tornadus teams, you know, with Rain Dance or Sunny Day, you can take those out of their element as well. And then, you know, basically just click Rock Slide and spam it, right? Tyranitar, Arcanine, I've seen this lead, you know, not just from Michael, but Donald Smith. I want to say Donald and Michael use the same team, because Donald was using this team also on stream, and I realized, oh wait, they might have built together. I think they have the same team, right? Don't quote me on that, but I think it's true. And then I've even seen like Arcanine Tyranitar leads, right? Or just like double Rock Slide spam, you know, that was also relatively effective. Great against Chien-Pao Tornadus teams, and Dragonite as well. You know, get 57 Rock Slide flinches, right? Might as well. All right, but now let's go into the Arcanine here, which is just as valuable as these other two, right? Look at this set here. Right, not only we already know Flare Blitz and Rock Slide, we already know what these things can do, but look at Will-O-Wisp and Howl here. No Protect, Citrus Berry, Terra Water, right? So some people have said, you know, like maybe we'll go, you know, Choice Band Arcanine for a bunch of damage, but you know, we've also like Citrus Berry Protect, but Will-O-Wisp and Howl is more of like the traditional Arcanine set, right? Excuse me. Look at this. So now what you're saying is, again, you're saying the meta is very physical. Sometimes Intimidate spam is not enough. Let's click Will-O-Wisp. Let's really neutralize a lot of these Pokemon. And then they're just going to take a whole bunch of burn chip. And then sometimes even these Pokemon with leftovers, they're just not getting that much recovery. And then even if you do get intimidated, right? Because you have 3 Pokemon here that are susceptible to Intimidate. Let's click Howl. Let's neutralize that. Okay, so we'll raise our Arcanine's attack, and then, you know, maybe even switching out Tyranitar and Rillaboom for each other. You know, they'll get the attack boost. And then at the very least, you get to neutralize the Intimidate spam coming into you, right? So this is actually really, really nice. And I like this a lot. This is a pretty cool Arcanine set. And Terra Water, of course, is very good at, you know, just, again, you're removing your weaknesses. 4 times weakness to water. Neutralizing ground weakness. Overall, water is just a very, very good defensive type. We've known that for a while. And then Rillaboom here. So this Rillaboom also had taunt. Oh, this had overgrowth here. So it was Terra Grass with taunts. This is also pretty good here. Again, stopping Amoonguss, stopping other setup, right? That's the whole point of taunt, right? You know, just to stop like maybe opposing Trick-Room team setting up, or, you know, a Swords Dance or a Nasty Plot setting up. Either way, taunt Rillaboom was like an old Sword and Shield thing, and then, you know, wasn't really used so much in Scarlet and Violet yet, but now all of a sudden now we have this. So this is pretty good here. And then you get Fake Out Pressure, of course. So again, like one of your VGC condiments. Intimidate, Fake Out. No redirection here, but that's okay. You have some speed control, a little, at least coming from the Iron Bundle over here. Which again, Iron Bundle has seen a little bit of a resurgence in regulationE, a little bit more usage. We did a whole video on this. Very standard set here with Terra type Ghost, of course. You know, again, this is so that, you know, you whiff the fighting move, you neutralize the grass weakness altogether. But, you know, very standard bundle set, but, you know, booster energy. And again, this is like great, very, very valuable into like Landers, right? Like, what does a Choice Scarf Landers do against an Iron Bundle? It dies, okay? Because your Choice Scarf doesn't do anything. And then here's the Flutter Mane set. Now, I don't know the full Flutter Mane set here because, you know, both of them did not really bring it into their stream games, whether it was Donald or Michael. I do know it is Moonblast, but if this had the booster, I would imagine this is like Choice Specs Flutter Mane, right? And I think I have an idea what the rest of the movesets are. Don't quote me on this, but I did a little bit of digging, did a little bit of research, right? And I think back to when Michael played in the NAIC, right? So let's look at that team here. Let's look at that team. You know, a little suspicious there, Mr. Michael, right? Look at this. You know, Iron Bundle, Flutter Mane, Arcanine, regular Arcanine, Tyranitar, again another Assault Vest Tyranitar, and then Baxcalibur, and then here's the Among Us. So it looks like Michael already has been using a team like this. You know, comparing it with his current team, of course, it's very similar in the sense, right? So it's like Michael's been right at home all along in these last few months, right? It's pretty much like, look, Mungus versus Rillaboom. Okay, two very different Pokemon. Yes, we understand it. You still get a grass type there, and then swapping back Excalibur for something like the Kommo here, right? And then at the end of the day, look at this Arcanine, right? So look at this Will-O-Wisp and Howl, right? So tell me not is that Michael has already been just basically tweaking his NAIC team and then just using this current version for, of course, the regulationE format, right? So I'm not saying these are the same spreads that he was using for his bundle, but if this is the Flutter Mane set, I don't know if it had Psyshock. That one I'm not so sure, but you know, if it had Moonblast, then I would imagine it has these other two, you know, Shadow Ball and Dazzling Gleam, and I don't even know if these are the same sets, but this also makes sense too. But again, of course, I don't think so. I think he might have done something there. But again, you know, I was just digging into it, and you know, he was already using something like this. So comparing that with this, I can kind of see the similarities here, you know, with this squad. So you know, he felt very comfortable and right at home here. Now again, you know, it's just a very good team. Again, you get a Fire, Water, Grass core with Arcanine, Rillaboom, and Iron Bundle here, and then Flutter Mane, I would imagine, just comes into certain matchups. Most of the times, at least the games on stream, they pretty much brought these five, but you know, they're free to correct me if I'm mistaken. But at the end of the day, what's the summary here? Basically, the call is, look, we've got a physical meta and we've got a bunch of weather teams like Ninetales stuff. So let's take both of those away. Let's throw in a weather set of our own like Tyranitar, and then let's throw in Kommo here where we can just simply set up Iron Defense, Body Press stuff. Okay, and then from there, we'll just go ham, right? And then, you know, the Rillaboom and Bundle, you know, and Flutter, they'll come in like specific matchups, but like the Dragon typing against the Ogre Pawns, and then, you know, Dragon fighting, resisting like both types of Urshifu is huge, right? The only thing you just have to worry about is, you know, something like a Flutter Mane, but you got more than enough here against an opposing Flutter Mane. Okay, so that's pretty good here. All right, and then at the end of the day, also sometimes, you know, you have to remember Howl is able to at least mitigate Ninetales Aurora Veil at least, right? Because, you know, you're getting the Ninetales getting, you know, defense for its team, but then if you just click Howl, you can kind of neutralize that Aurora Veil a little bit, right? And then even Iron Bundle can also come into those Ninetales games, right? Where maybe sometimes you can't really bring Tyranitar in certain situations at given turns, and then Iron Bundle can also enjoy the Aurora Veil boost. So that's also pretty cool. But again, shoutouts to Michael for a really cool team. And if Donald was using the exact same team, then of course shoutouts to Donald, who also did relatively well in the tournament as well. Let's take a look at Riley's team, right? Because he was the runner-up team. So let's look at his squad. So this one's Riley's team. Now again, it pretty much looks like his Peoria team, right? And if we were to look at the pace of his Peoria team, and I'm pretty sure this was it. I don't know if he made any changes since then. He might have, but it was definitely the same 6 mons. It is Thunder Punch Dragonite, that we know, okay, which is pretty cool if you ask me, right? It's great into like the Ogre Pawns, right? Especially the Terra Water ones, right? And then of course Aerial Ace, great into grass types. You know, it's just a very strong move. And then, you know, Assault Vest, very bulky against stuff like, you know, Flutter Mane, Chiyu, Iron Bundle stuff. Now again, you do have to Terra to like survive the bundle stuff, but again, at the end of the day, look, it's a Dragonite, right? And it's nice to see, you know, Dragonite Chen-Pao at least a little bit. You know, I feel like this duo has dropped a little bit in usage, but Riley says, I've got these two, and not only that, I've got Among Us here, right? And Riley's been really good at using this Among Us, right? It's just helping him in reposition purposes, right? Especially Spore Pressure. You know, you're putting things to sleep, okay, and then basically neutralizing a slot, which means you're forcing 2-on-1 a lot of times, right? And then, of course, the Kingambit here. All right, again, very good against opposing Arcanines and Landorus's, you know, with Sucker Punches, you know, boosted Sucker Punches, right? And then here's your Steel coverage with Iron Head and Kowtow Cleave and Protect. I don't know if he changed the set, so he'll have to correct me if I'm wrong. But again, this is just what I'm going by with Peoria. But he still kept the Ogerpon Flame Mask here. All right, this is still Ivy Cudgel and Horn Reach. No Wood Hammer, no Power Whip. All right, and then this is Sacred Sword Chien-Pao that we saw on stream, right? Of course, it's a Focus Sash one with Terra Ghost. This we saw. And then here's the Urshifu here with the Choice Scarf set. You know, again, Choice Scarf Urshifu on the rise, right? But again, so Chien-Pao, Arcanine, Kingambit, like Chien-Pao or Kingambit also can do relatively well together because now the Kingambit is doing like a whole bunch of damage, right? And then of course, Chien-Pao, Ogerpon, we already know what these two can do. And then even Chien-Pao, Urshifu, like a lot of Chien-Pao combinations here. And then you just bring in the Amoonguss to just support everything, you know, with redirection, right? You don't need Landorus here. No Iron Hands necessary. You just run, you know, Chien-Pao and friends, and then have a little Mushroom here to support, right? So, you know, shout outs to Riley for his really, really good play, you know, at the start of the season. And then if we just take a look at the rest of the 8, you know, we'll go more in depth as far as like, you know, takeaways and trends. But like we mentioned earlier, 2 Ninetales teams, right? So from Rogov, again, Ninetales team, but back Scalper with, you know, Landorus, Heatran, and then, you know, the Water Ogerpon, and then here's the Rillaboom as opposed to Iron Hands. We have something similar like this. Again, we had Iron Hands in the Rillaboom slot. I've seen two variations in that sense, right? Sometimes the Rillaboom is just a little bit better, but then, you know, by doing this, you can do Grassy Glide Pressure, you know, with both of these. I don't know if Rogov actually had this both. I watched his matches, but I don't remember specifically if the Ogerpon had Grassy Glide as well. So yeah, and then over here, from Aaron's team, no back Scalper, but instead, you know, Iron Hands, you know, and then Kingambit, Landorus, right? That's a pretty good trio right there. And then you just have Heatran and Ogerpon yet again. So no back Scalper needed. This time we're putting the Kingambit in the back Scalper slot, which is great. We also have something similar to show, you know, just in a little bit. We have a surprise, okay? But this is a cool team from Aaron as well, okay? And then even this one, yo, Brian Collins with the size spam Gallade. He could not use this Gallade in Day 2, from what I understand, because he nicknamed this thing Aura Ceruledge, right? And they said, no, you can't do that. Now you have to just run through Day 2 with 5 Mons. And he was able to do relatively well, all right? So size spam is still alive and strong even without the Gallade. Brian, if you're watching, I want to feature this team. So, you know, if you want some showcase, all right, hit me up here. We'll maybe we can plan something, unless you want to use this again for something else. But anyway, but yeah, look, the other interesting thing here is, and we'll talk more about this tomorrow, only 1 Iron Hands in the top 8. That is insane to me. I can't remember a regulation format where there was only 1 Iron Hands. That's crazy, right? It was still like in the top 3 usage in Day 3. But the fact that there's only 1 Iron Hands in the top 8, that's crazy, right? I don't think I don't know any regional that had that. That's pretty insane. But look at this. You have multiple Hisuian-Arcanines here. So you have 1 here, and then 1 in first. So 1 in first place, 1 in fourth place from Shane. And it's Arcanine and Chiyu, right? You very seldomly see both on the same team, but you know, usually you might see something like Landorus here, right? Because you have Landorus here. Then you already have Flutter Mane, Urshifu, and Rillaboom. I'm sorry, Rillaboom, Urshifu, and Flutter Mane, right? Are already a Fire, Water, Grass core, but then we have Arcanine here. So this is a pretty cool choice as opposed to Landorus from Shane. So that's cool. Like, if you look at all these Tornadus teams, you know, a lot of them will always have Landorus, but this is also pretty good here. Andrew Ding, by the way, 14-0. Okay, I don't think we've ever had that. I think he made history, right? 14-0. And then, unfortunately, the one he did have to lose was the one that would take him out. But this is another really, really good team, right? And it also has Urshifu. Look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 Urshifus. I think this is the dark one, though. So it just goes to show you that, you know, Rapid Strike Urshifu, probably Choice Scarf in these 3 is still very, very good, despite the Ogerpon usage, right? So that makes a lot of sense here. And then look at this. 1 and 2, right? What is this? 2nd place and 6th place team. You still have Amoonguss returning in the top 8. Only 2 though. Only 2 Amoonguss in the top 8. But you know, when it's used, it does well, right? I understand Ogerpon is is prevalent. I understand we have good grass types now in, you know, Rillaboom and Sinistra, right? But Amoonguss has been a good Pokemon for a long time, and it'll still be good as long as Pokemon VGC remains the way it is right now, right? So I do expect Amoonguss usage to still rise up steadily as the format progresses. I understand right now it's a little bit low, or it's not as high as it once was, but I would imagine as the format progresses, Amoonguss will still increase. I don't think it'll get back to where it was in regulationD and other regulation formats, but I think it'll still at least rise a little bit more, especially with Clear Smog, because Clear Smog is good against setup, and setup is really, really good right now, whether it's Swords Dance, whether if it's Nasty Plot, whether it's, you know, something like Dondozo, or, you know, Swords Dance Ogerpon, Swords Dance Kingambit, or, you know, Kommo clicking Iron Defenses or Clangor Souls. Either way, setup is in a really good spot right now, and you know, you need stuff like Haze from Chien-Pao or Milotic, or something like Amoonguss with Clear Smog, and then, you know, just redirection support and Spore Pressure is just, you know, of course, you can't find a substitute for that at the end of the day. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to do a quick video tonight, and again, just recapping some of the results from at least the top teams, right? And then we'll just do like general trends tomorrow, where we just go over some stuff like archetypes or some interesting niche choices that we saw throughout Sacramento. All right, but anyway, that'll do it for now, folks. Let me know what you thought of the finals from Sacramento. We'll be back with another video next time tomorrow. We'll recap the entire tour. Peace out. Have a good one. Tyranitar's on top.